Series Survivor here. This video will focus on different types of water storage and resources, or at least what we can do now to prepare. At this moment, food and water resources are still readily available, and this is the time we need to act. If we wait too long, then locating these essentials may prove extremely difficult. If you haven't already, then food stocks and water should be first on your list. Without these, eventually nothing else will matter. Depending on where you live, this can present a major problem, or it could not even be a factor if you live near freshwater sources. When an event occurs, there is always a possibility of the loss of basic utilities. If this is the case, then those in dense urban areas will find this to be one of their most primary concerns. There are many options for water storage. If space is available, then the pre-bought purified or distilled water from pretty much any grocery store is a definitely easy method of stocking gallons upon gallons of water for future use. But for some, this is not the case, whether it be financially or space-wise. Fortunately, our homes or apartments already have built-in water storage devices. These are our bathtubs, our sinks, the back of the toilet storage area, water heaters, and some other appliances. Also, milk jugs, soda bottles, other containers. All of these can be used to store water. The hard part about this is knowing when to store this water. If you're buying the pre-packaged water, if you will, such as the large 5-gallon bottles or 1-gallon bottles of water, then you can buy those now and store those in your pantry or in a back room or wherever you need to store them. Just store them in a cool, dark place. But if you're going to use the devices in your home, such as the bathtubs and sinks, the real question for that is when? When do you fill them up? Normally, we're not going to get a warning before the water goes out. If we do, then that's going to be great. But if we don't, then this is going to be a difficult situation for some. Because for what we're talking about in this video, a possible Civil War type of situation in which utilities may be lost, this will probably not happen for the first few days of the event, but it will probably happen when the civil unrest is truly out of control. The advantage of this situation, though, is that we do have a date. The elections are on November 3rd, so this at least gives us a vantage point, or at least a good indicator of when storing water in these types of devices should start. If you're in a densely populated urban area, then this is only a short-term solution. Also keep on hand any containers, such as buckets or similar, that can be used to catch rainwater. Also have a bug-out plan, because we can only store so much water, and when it runs out, you don't have much time to find more. Dehydration sets in much quicker than starvation. You may also find water sources in fire hydrants, water towers, boilers, in basements of older buildings, sources such as that, but these will definitely require filtering and purification. Water purification methods. There are many methods of filtering and purifying water. Filtering water is taking the particulates out of it. It's basically taking the particles, removing those from the water, or blocking them with some type of filter. Purifying water is actually killing the microorganisms and bacteria in the water. So here we look at a few different devices. All of these work extremely well. Now, boiling is the safest and most sure way of purifying water. This will kill any bacteria and microorganisms in it, but it does not filter out particulates. That's why it's best to filter the water first and then boil. There are many products on the market. All of these work extremely well, and most are portable. Some may opt for larger systems such as reverse osmosis or one of the large Berkeleys. But this is basically a choice you should make on affordability, portability, and what your actual needs are. So how much water should we store? You may have heard the 8x8 rule and similar suggestions, but the most accurate way to determine the amount of water needed by your body is by body weight and expected activity. The first step is to know your weight. The amount of water a person should drink varies on their body weight. And this makes sense because someone who weighs more will need to drink more. A 200-pound man and a 100-pound woman are going to require vastly different amounts of water every day just to survive. The way to determine this is to take your body weight and multiply it by 2/3 or by 0.67, and this will determine how much water you should drink daily. For example, if you weigh 175 pounds, then you would multiply that by 2/3 or 0.67, And you'll see that you need to be drinking about 117 ounces of water every day. 1 U.S. liquid gallon equals 128 fluid ounces. Now, activity level. You will want to adjust the number based on how often you work out, since you're expelling water when you sweat. You should add 12 ounces of water to your daily total for every 30 minutes you work out. So if you work out for 45 minutes every day, then you would add 18 ounces of water to your daily intake. But keep in mind that this is just the amount of water needed for an individual to simply survive and to maintain their physical stature. This does not include the water for cooking, cleaning yourself, and what we will probably lose due to mishaps, spillage, broken containers, waste, and evaporation if not sealed properly. The golden rule that a lot prep by is basically 1 gallon per person per day. I personally shoot for 1.5 gallons a person per day. If I use less, then it's going to last that much longer. Great. And this is actually one of the most difficult areas, not because it's hard to figure out or grasp, but because water takes up a lot of space and it's very heavy. On average, 8.33 pounds per gallon. So at 1 gallon a day for 100 days, that's 833 pounds of water per person. For 4 people, that's 3,332 pounds. And as you can see, this can present a problem. That's why access and knowing where your local reservoirs and water sources are is of vital importance, along with the ability to collect and purify rainwater and other sources. This could be one of the biggest threats to most people if the grid is down. So that was an overview of a lot of the different things that we can do to prepare, a lot of the different options that we have, I should say. Good thing to remember is that the election is on November 3rd, and it's going to be 78 days until the new president or the president is sworn into office. So that's going to be 78 days of possible chaos, especially if the election doesn't go the way the rioters want it to go. So this is something that it's necessary. It's not just prepping in case it will happen, it's prepping because it's going to happen. This is something that we are facing now, and it doesn't matter if we want it or not, it's happening. You're not going to want to go out and go shopping because this is going to be a very difficult time. So I do recommend 90 days of storage for you and your family. Thanks a lot, and God bless, and for now, Serious Survivor, out.